Red till you're dead. Open on, Martian terrain engulfed in a dust storm. Wind howls and whips, visibility is practically non-existent. A figure in a spacesuit appears, stumbles, struggles in the storm. Inside the helmet, from a disorienting close angle, we see a woman, 30s. She gasps for air, blood and sweat run down the side of her temple. The suit's alarms are blaring.
Warning. Breach detected. Loss of pressurization imminent. Oxygen levels critical.
Clearly exhausted, she climbs, crawls her way to a small peak. As she crests, 100 yards ahead, a large cave, and the back end of an orange industrial drill rig at its mouth. She looks back from where she came. Barely visible in the thick dust storm, maybe a mile away, the bright orange glow of a fire, completely consuming a large base station. A small town set entirely ablaze. The helmet's display flashes red, oxygen 1%. Something draws her attention to the valley below. Another spacesuit follows her footprints, but this person seems much more sure-footed, not struggling against the storm. At the sight of the other spacesuit, she panics, stumbles backward, dashes for the cave, alarm still ringing in her ears. Just as she reaches the cave's mouth, she trips, falls to the ground by the truck's treads. She goes face down in the dirt, motionless. Then she comes to life again, sucking hard, rising up. Her indicator changes, oxygen 0%. As she looks at it, a small crack trickles across her domed visor. Her eyes widen in fear following its spread across her helmet. She dives at a panel on the side of the truck, opens it, yanks out a small green breech kit, rips it open, retrieves a roll of tape, desperately covers her helmet's breaking glass. 3 strips and it seems okay, for now. She chokes, then drops the breech kit, reaches behind her back, retrieves a hose, extending it toward the panel. Her vision blurs as she struggles to connect it to the truck. Darkness descends as she takes her final few breaths before passing out. Click. The connection is finally made. A hiss, then she breathes in deeply and loudly. The oxygen gauge inside her helmet quickly refills and she finally gets some relief. Rack focus on the distance. The other spacesuit reaches the peak, comes into view only a couple 100 yards away. The woman frantically unplugs at the site, stands, looks to the drill rig, and makes the decision. She jumps up, opens the door. Inside the rig, she comes face to face with the putrid corpse of Archie the miner, 45, or what's left of him. His eyes are dark holes, and his jaw's been ripped down and open as if something huge forced its way out of his mouth. Seeing the dead body, she startles, falls back off the truck. As she does, she knocks the headlights and they go on. She hits the ground with a thud. She regains her composure, looks toward the lights, and her breath is taken away. Now illuminated is a large alien ritual altar shrine in the shape of a half-circle up against a 10-foot-tall wall. The wall and ground are densely covered in alien hieroglyphics. More scary are the 4 bodies evenly spaced around the shrine. Each one has their back to her on their knees, bent over a stone. She starts to rise, circles around the closest body, wearing a yellow shirt and jeans, and sees. They are all headless. Like victims of a guillotine, all 4 are bent over a stone and missing their heads. However, instead of being cut by a blade, each head's been smashed by huge pillar-sized rocks. Their heads are just gone, crushed completely, leaving no trace of the victims' identities besides their clothes. She shudders, crawls backward. She bumps into something, the legs of the spacesuit who was following her. A decompression hiss, and a helmet falls to the ground in front of her. She looks up at her unmasked stalker, OS, and as we hear the sounds of wet slithering and sucking, she lets out a massive scream, terrified to her core. Hard cut to black. Super titles. Red till you're dead. End of teaser. Act 1. Exterior, school, day. Like any other day, kids are dropped off at school, except we are clearly in the future, as parents and kids hug and kiss goodbye in driverless cars that just hover above the ground atop blue glowing lights where the wheels should be. Interior, classroom, school, same. Children enter and take their seats. while the ones already seated play with their future phones, wrist straps with holographic interfaces. Some kids play fighting games with little characters popping up on their wrists, while others take 3D selfies and adorn their holographic photos with filters that drastically change their hair, skin color, features, etc. Their teacher enters and instantly all of their wrist straps turn off. The kids groan in unison.
Oh, please. Did y'all forget what we're doing today? We're talking with Mars!
The kids all begin to gossip excitedly. The teacher smiles and drops her stuff on her chair. She waves her hands in front of the whiteboard and it wipes away with her gesture. She sweeps her other hand in, and a video screen the size of the whole wall replaces the whiteboard. The lights automatically dim and the windows darken tint drastically.
All right, everyone, settle down.
The video wall shows a large logo that reads Mars X. It spins, a timer below it counting down. Live feed in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A video montage plays, an inspirational highlight reel complete with heroic score. Astronauts give thumbs up while strapped in their seats. Some tend plants in a glass dome. Others work on the Martian terrain. One solders panels in space, and a few float inside a white space station with no gravity. All of them smile. The logo appears once more, then we are taken live to Exterior, Mars, Day. A man, 53, stands on the Martian surface with no helmet or spacesuit. Athletic and looking good for his age, he gently tosses a football between his hands. A Chiron appears. Oakland Wells, first man on Mars.
Welcome to Mars, kids. We've got quite a show for you today, so let's get right to it. It goes without saying, this will all be on the quiz at the end today, so pay attention. Last I checked, Kinswala in Ethiopia and École St. George in Paris are still way in the lead.
Flash cut. We see the same scenes in other classrooms around the world. In each school, Oakland is translated automatically to their native language.
So last week we talked about the plasma engine technology that fuels our ships and much of the latest technology, both here and on Earth.
As he talks, 3D holograms appear on each kid's desk. Close inspection reveals little black marbles in each corner of the desks combined to create the holographic images. A model of a spaceship rotates, then zooms in quickly to the engines, going into exploded view, each piece pulling apart at once to show its inner workings.
And today we're going to talk about how the tetra columns work.
He points to a huge mushroom-top tower in the distance. On each kid's desk, miniature versions of the columns appear and rotate. A small mist shoots out of the sprinkler-like top and small arrows pulsate in and out at the bottom.
Evenly distributed all around our bases, the tetra columns expel a mist that bonds with the Martian atmosphere and creates breathable air, while at the same time enriching the Martian soil. All of which will combine to create a livable, breathable, self-sustaining Martian world within the next 60 years.
He smiles, tosses the football. It floats a bit before landing in his other hand.
Of course, in the meantime, we get to enjoy slightly lighter gravity here on Mars, about half that of Earth, which means we get some serious games of catch going.
He spins, throws the ball. A perfect spiral floats into the distance, when a quick glitch pops the ball out of place, then back. It soars hundreds of yards until it's just a tiny speck, then hits the terra column far off and bounces away.
So how did all this happen? It all began 25 years ago with the vision and genius of Mars X founder Isaac Weir.
A photo of Weir, 50s, shows. When it comes back to Oakland, his face is all garbled and snaps clear after a second.
In 2034, while testing for the
fuck was that?